This one setup will make you a better chart trader, and it's very simple. So the first thing we're going to look at is how I set up my zones, and then I'm going to run you through the method. So the first thing I did to set up my zones was well, first of all, you can check the previous video of the day, and that was using the daily chart for Renkos to set up very, very quickly and efficiently how your chart will look. And you can see that I've only done it off this much history. I considered it more than enough. So on the daily chart, I grabbed my Renko levels as per the previous video, just grabbing off one Renko of width from where I considered it most important, grabbing individual wicks. Well, they're not wicks, I guess, they're entire bodies, but grabbing individual Renko candles worth of size. Then jumping straight back into regular candles. Now I've got my zones already drawn off the daily. And now I can trade in a zone-to-zone format with a good guide. For instance here, where you can see that although it's bouncing off, you can see that the momentum is already pushing it bullish, and so that you can already go from one zone to the next. In the same way as it's come from sort of down here, the long-term LMI was already bearish. You did have some movement up and bullish, however that comes from when it bounced off of this one. You can see that as it came up and through, it decided it was going to stay bullish for a little bit, and then it did. But you can see that volatility was dropping off here, and also how this has already gone back to being on the negative side of the zero line. So the long-term trend in LMI was near enough bearish the entire way through, except for these 3-4 candles here. And then you've moved down through your zone. This does go to another level, but I haven't marked that one on the chart this time. And again, even from here, you can see already that as price was getting to this range, the LMI and the momentum extreme were already bearish, so you could look towards taking a trade to the next zone. And as price had come from this level, everything was already bearish, so you could look at coming down to this zone. And then as everything was already bullish, you could already work towards this zone. And even from here, now LMI in this case is actually giving the opposite signal to the momentum. In this case, from here, LMI is long-term bearish, and that's why it does go from this zone to this zone where momentum it was bullish. However, I do like to only really look at trades when I've got the combined influence of both. So in this case, because LMI is bearish but long-term bearish, but momentum is bullish, then I wouldn't be looking at taking this trade. However, we do also have this nice win that we would have just come off of, where we could have taken a trade from the middle of this zone all the way to touching the next one. And you can see that these moves are relatively large as well. If I just grab it from one to the next, that's a 300 pip move right there that you could have very, very simply had. And again, I'll grab the next one where both of them line up, which was somewhere over here. I'm just going to do it between the boxes from one to the next. Again, you can see that that is 260 pips. And again, this one at the bottom is the smallest zone, but like the smallest gap, but we'll mark it up and it's 150 pips, which is not a small, insignificant amount. They are amounts that can be used very, very happily. So I hope this is a good guide for improving your zone-to-zone trading. The settings were completely standard on LMI, just setting the plot to area and then removing the other plots. And then on Momentum Extreme, just turning everything off other than the original plot, and every setting was default. And again, I just set my zone-to-zone based off of the 1-day Renko chart. You probably could do it off the 4-hour Renko chart if you've got a paid version of TradingView which allows you to do that, which will give you some tighter ranges to play with, and you might find that somewhat beneficial. But this was just my quick video on how you can do it off of the free TradingView using standard free charts. Thank you for watching the video. Feel free to click on one of the next ones where you'll probably be able to learn a lot more about trading and potentially see trading in a different light entirely. So please feel free to click on one of the next videos. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.